All right, everyone, welcome back to the Buckle Bomb. We're back with your boy, the star boy, Primo Campos, and my other boy,
Jay Mazing.
Jay Mazing in the building. And our wonderful guest, we've been trying to get him on for weeks, big boy. Well, I mean, that's not your tag, but Steve'O Reno.
The Pinfall Wizard.
Pinfall Wizard.
That is my moniker.
That is.
I wasn't aware of y'all's gimmicks. Y'all already had gimmicks.
Yes, sir. We are in a school. We're learning gimmicks. You know, we're basically mid now.
That's
Maybe
all
not.
part of the regimen, you know, like the class schedule.
Yes, sir.
Gotta check all the boxes.
Yes. Speaking of class regiment, if you're not aware, Steve'O is basically one of the head trainers. I mean, you are. I would say you are the head trainer. Is that safe to say? Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes I hear Pop say, "This is our head trainer," and sometimes I consider him the head trainer. I mean, he was one of the guys that taught me when I first came in.
True that.
When I started with the school, I mean, it's gone under several names since I started. Different ownership,
different buildings too.
Yeah, different 3 or 4 different buildings at least since I've started. But that's been like in an 11-year span.
Can you touch on some of the humble beginnings?
Oh, right, for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, as far as the head trainer thing, I'd like to think that I'm more of the senior trainer.
Yeah.
And Pops handles more of the beginner stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, every day I show up ready to change things up.
Right.
Like, we are starting to get more of a structure, actually.
Yeah.
In the last
I've
few
noticed
weeks
that.
than we've had ever. Because literally for 10 years, it's show up and what do you want to do, Pops? I mean, I say 10 years, but like once I've started becoming a more senior student of the school, even after I graduated, like I never stopped training. Like I kept coming. I kept the same schedule I did as a student once I graduated. Like I didn't want to stop training, obviously.
It's addicting.
Right. I mean, some guys stay, some guys go off. Not everybody loses a step, but, you know, I just don't understand if you have an option.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you be here?
Yeah, I really want to touch on like how long you've been doing this. When did you first start training?
So I have to go back and I have it all
like written out
on a file somewhere. Like I was really a big mark, so it was a big deal for me to start training, you know. But like eventually you get out of that stuff. But I kept I have it on a Word document somewhere, like on my old laptop, like something. It was 2009, I think, is when my debut match is still on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Who was the
I think it's like January of 2010, and I started like November.
Like November in 2010?
November-ish of 2009.
How old were you
2009
then?
Yeah, so it was like I've trained 3 or 4 months before my first match, but then like I graduated like.
So you
within
debuted pretty fast then. Which I would say that's pretty fast compared to like what Zach and Jasmine told us. I feel like that's pretty fast. Is it not? Like, what is the fastest you've seen someone get into on the show?
I don't know off the top of my head, but especially since we moved into this new school, we throw guys a lot quicker into their first matches.
Yeah. Is that
Pops has always been like the just throw them out there, throw them into the deep end and let them learn how to swim. And I'm always no, make sure they know every little thing perfectly before they go in there. So I'm always skeptical when we throw guys. Not that I don't believe in them, but I just want to make sure that they have their bumps down and everything before, just for their own safety and the guy they're in the ring with or girl. So, but 9 times out of 10, I'm proven wrong, and Pops, throws them in there, and that is honestly the best practice you can get.
If they swim.
Are those practice matches, and then putting those habits and those things you worked on in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Because you can think you have the best match rehearsed with your best friend and you go over it every day. It doesn't mean that the crowd's going to give, give a damn.
Yeah. That's funny that you bring that up about the dynamic between you and Pops. I was like, throw him out there. And you're like, no, please, like, let's get him like.
And it goes with
up.
like moves too.
Yeah.
Like he loves teaching those good old school back drops, body drops. And it's one of the most difficult bumps to time. And I was just thinking about the other day, it's like one of the biggest, highest bumps you can take while leaving the other person's contact.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you do all these crazy top rope moves, double suplexes, gosh, I'm scared. How do I forget? Superplex.
Yeah.
This is what I'm thinking of.
That one is
It's not
scary.
about the moves, brother. Don't worry about that
Yeah.
stuff. It's how you do it. But you have all these big moves
Dynamic
you can do off the
moves.
top rope, but a back body drop, you're leaving contact.
Mm-hmm.
You can trust somebody to normally come
Guide
down
you.
with you and
Yeah.
guide you down. I don't know how into the business we get on this, but it's about the
It's
school.
as much as you
Screw
want
it,
to.
know?
Yeah. As much as you want to.
I'm also old school like that.
Yeah.
Like, are we kayfabing it? We're not kayfabing it. It's
Still in
not.
the
It's
business,
as
brother.
kayfabe's as alive as you
Want it
keep
to be.
it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You can get as deep
But I feel like
as you want to.
the more people understand about the business and the inside, like I feel like you can appreciate it a little bit more.
100%.
There really is a lot that goes into this, more than just what you might see on TV.
There really is.
I've had countless conversations with people who don't watch wrestling, and they're like, "Oh, wrestling, man, that's hilarious." I'm like, "What's hilarious?" You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like they don't really understand. And I know a lot of
The dichotomy of
musicians.
it.
Obviously, Austin's a big music city, so
Yeah.
like you can find infinite number of similarities between the wrestling business and the music business. So I'm always
Yeah.
comparing like,
It's all
dude, you
entertainment.
got to make a name for yourself. You can't
Yeah.
just, I can go on and on. Merchandising,
Yeah.
how to make the real money, and investing in yourself, getting your name out, social media, plugging your stuff, not just working one town because that's only one tiny percent of an audience.
Yeah.
If you're in a band, same thing. Sometimes you're your own manager. You gotta like get your own stuff out there.
Independent.
You gotta keep traveling.
Independent
so
wrestler,
now
that's the
just
whole-
Austin,
yeah.
and now Houston, and now Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get to San Antonio. Now San Antonio knows who you are.
Yep. You want to go ahead, Jay? Look, you had something to say.
No, I'm just.
I could
hearing,
go on,
I'm
man,
just
so cut
hearing
me
every
off.
bit of this, and yeah, 100% true. I personally work in both the music and wrestling.
Shout yourself
business.
out. Plug yourself. Cheap
Yeah,
plug.
shout myself out. Money Shot Music. Jay
Money
Amazing.
shot. Money shot.
Um,
We're working on that.
But
With
yeah,
all the work you put in, you deserve a 15-second plug.
I appreciate
Only
it.
15. Don't overdo it, buddy.
Oh,
You're gonna get
I'll go
For the
you're gonna get
15
money.
hours you put in,
Yeah, it's
yesterday.
It's
Yeah, right.
intervals, all that kind of stuff.
But no, yeah, it very is an independent, your own brand. You have to push your own product, and it does. It goes the same for music as well
Yeah,
as
you
wrestling.
literally put in what you. Wait, you literally put
You
out
got it,
what
you're
you
there.
put in.
Yeah.
I'm at a school. I'm learning how to speak to.
You get out what you put in. You
yeah,
said it, man.
exactly.
And that goes for music. That goes for pretty much anything in life, you know?
Yeah.
But to bring it back to the school, I mean, we talked about this with Zach. The trainer dynamic we have here, it's so, I think, perfect. Because you have you. We talked about this on Zach's podcast. We have you. I feel like you are the nicest trainer I've ever met, which is really good because you're really reaffirming. If someone messes up so bad, like you come over with nice words, and it's not like you do. I mean, okay, nice words is probably too much. You come over with a nice attitude, and you're like, hey, man, like you got it. Like this is what you need to work on. Now do it. And then Adam would be like, yo, what are you doing? Like you look stupid. And then Zach will play both sides of the fence. He'll be like, all right, like that kind of, he'll do it in a funny way. He'll be like, that kind of, stunk. That kind of sucked, but you'll do it again, right? And
We
then
do
if
have
you
a
keep
good
messing up-
dynamic,
You guys
I think,
do.
as far as the difference in methodology, I
Yes.
guess you could
Yes.
say, like training styles.
Yeah.
Right.
Not only do we all like prefer a different type of wrestling style of wrestling,
Yeah.
but we also, I mean, just as humans, we all can interpret things differently.
Yeah.
And even though I've been doing it literally twice as long as Adam and Zach, like I met them like 5 or 6 years already into my training,
That's crazy.
my career. They still think of things and can express things and explain things way differently than
Yeah.
I do, or even than what I would think about.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Zach, sometimes I feel bad, and I will justify it just this one time on the podcast. Sometimes I look back and I feel bad that I'm not in there all the time, exactly 100% hands-on. But at the same time, I understand that too many cooks in the kitchen is a bad
Yeah,
thing.
that's-
We already have to get on the students
Yeah.
who are not maliciously doing it or, intending for any have any bad intent in it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the students will add their critiques or they'll yell at whoever's in the ring. So you not only have Pops and Adam and Zach and me,
now you got,
who are usually, you know, at least 3 of us are there on any given day.
Right, now you've
so
got
not only do you have
class.
2 or 3 trainers in there, you have everybody yelling at you, and you're already starting to train, so you know that the nerves are running. It's it just comes with being in a professional wrestling ring, learning how to wrestle.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's awesome. I don't know if we're guessing on
You're
this.
good.
School,
You can.
family
You do
show,
what you want
family
to.
whatever.
We can't do
family podcast. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't check the regulations before, but you know.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome to be in a wrestling ring learning how to wrestle.
It's very
so
fun.
it's only natural if you give a shit that the nerves or the butterflies are running.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to do good. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt the other guy. So you have to. That's why I step out. I need to get my workout on and focus on me a little bit.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want to have. I don't want to be the 4th, 5th, 6th voice in their head, repeating the same stuff basically.
Yeah.
Information overload is
And
a real
like,
thing.
not to go too far backwards, but Adam and Zach and Pops, especially when Pops is in there training, I shut up and I listen too, because I could pick up some way to explain something that I didn't realize before.
Yeah.
I always go to Pops still to this day and be like, "How do you teach that move again?" Like,
That's so cool,
I
though.
cannot explain how to do this, how to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes he just, like you said, throws you in the deep end.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. I don't know why you can't do it. You just got to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And again, going back to the nice thing, like sometimes, especially lately, I've been like doubting if that's the most productive
I've seen you pick it up more.
And I mean,
You've been picking it up
you don't
more.
have to be to always get your message
That's true.
across,
Right.
but it's the whole, I feel like nice guys finish last thing. Like maybe that saying came because the nice guys are not outspoken or boisterous or like
They're not sticking out enough. They're
right,
not
right,
making
exactly.
themselves-
And that just to go on a personal side has probably been my weakness in wrestling. I've never wanted to think or feel like I know everything. I keep the mindset, even from when I was a kid, I was raised to think like, don't think you know everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you're always learning. Like even if you know something, question it.
Yeah.
Research it. Figure out different points of view. Is this thing you learned your whole life really how it goes down? You know, like
Right.
you learn the real side of history as you grow up.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
scary.
like
We're getting into some scary stuff now.
Yeah.
I learned at a young age. I mean, I say young age, but I kind of got the idea at a young age. But then in high school, I took a class all about the media and all about how every source of media is controlled by the parties that wants you to feel their way. You know, I'm not doing it justice, but you know,
we get what you're
that's
saying.
why I'm always open to new ideas. I'm always trying to get every little piece of info I can. That's why I harp on the philosophy that there's never, the only wrong way to do something in wrestling is the unsafe way to do
True.
it. Because
I feel like that should be the only way.
I mean, it's just natural with the evolution of things. The American way to arm drag is different from the Japanese way to arm drag, and that's different from the British way to arm drag, and that's different from the lucha way to arm drag. It's just there are going to be different styles and different ways of things, and it's not necessarily wrong. So if somebody out there tells you, "Oh, that's wrong," ask them why, and if they just say, "Because it's just wrong," and
take that.
Right, or
we
it's not
always
how
try
they
to
do it,
explain
right.
the why behind things. Then that person has been trained very close-minded. You know, like the only wrong way to do something is the unsafe way. And just speaking about American style, I think we were just talking the other day about different ways to arm drag.
Yeah.
Like I say American arm drag, that could be like 10 different possibilities, you know.
Right.
Some guys grab up here, some guys grab there, one arm, two arm.
We were learning that on last Friday.
I could go all day about arm drags. We could have
Yeah.
a whole podcast on the arm drag, honestly. So
And that's why every time it's always either you or Zach, because you guys are usually the first people I see here. Like, I love talking to you guys because you guys are just a well of knowledge. Like, every time you guys speak, I shut up and I listen and I keep my eyes open, my ears open, my mouth shut. Because you've been doing this long enough to really know what you talk about. Because you've been doing this for how long?
10 and a half.
10 and a half years.
10 and a half
Obviously,
years.
yeah. If you're doing it for that long.
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
getting my dates mixed up because If I started training in 2009, it would be 11 and a
11.
half. Right?
Jeez, that's crazy. I mean, but the fact that you've been doing it for 11 years means you know a little bit about wrestling at the least.
Consistently. And
Yeah.
Like you said, you kept the same schedule.
Well, you
for
have
11
guys
years.
that there are guys that have been wrestling 20 years and all that, and they don't leave their hometown. So, years in the business doesn't necessarily mean determines your experience or your value or your knowledge of wrestling. Because I still, to this day, work on shows with guys that started before me and never left their home promotion, their hometown, but yet talk down to their rookies and their.
That's detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not that because I never thought
that you're better than anyone.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But I mean, you've been doing this for so long, and you've wrestled with some big names. I mean, you touched on it earlier today when you and I both got here about how you've wrestled with the likes of you wrestled Joey Janela. I mean, that man has his own show, so obviously you're doing something right. I talked about it with Zach. You deserve to be somewhere else, not here. I believe
Thanks.
you deserve to be in a different promotion right now. Is there any?
And
are
that's
you allowed
not
to speak on that?
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, we're not talking down to AAPW.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
Right, obviously.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying because.
I'm saying you've been doing this for so long, and you do it with so much knowledge. Zach talked about it. I keep harping back on Zach because I feel like you two have the greatest minds here. Next to Pop, you guys are a wealth of knowledge, and Adam. I mean, you guys have been doing it for this long, and you've wrestled so many people, so you're doing something right. So now I feel like, hard work does pay off, I believe, and you and Zach have put in so much hard work. You deserve to be somewhere. Have you looked at any other place? If you're allowed to say, have you looked at any other places that you are trying to go to?
Well, yeah, obviously. Deserve. I've started to understand and think more about that word.
Yeah.
Deserve. I deserve this. I deserve that. Not to go mark it out on WWE, but it was setting up not this last WrestleMania, but the one before last. It really stood out to me and made me totally rethink things. The promo where Kofi and the New Day are in the ring with Vince.
Yeah.
And they're setting up Kofi's big title shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
Gives me
Kofi and
chills.
the New Day are getting in Vince's face, and they're you always held us down. You always did, giving him their grief and really venting probably some real shit.
Yeah.
And then Kofi says something like, I deserve this. I deserve to be a WrestleMania. And Vince looks at him and goes, you don't deserve anything. And the crowd boos.
Yeah.
But then he goes off and the crowd shuts up. He's like, nobody deserves anything. I don't deserve anything.
Yeah.
You don't deserve anything in life. You earn it in life.
Yeah.
And then I heard John Cena say something similar, and maybe that's just their mentality over
Yeah.
there. But they're not wrong, deserving is a very entitled.
Yeah.
The more you think about it, the more you
is
look
when you get down
into
to
it.
the root.
I'm very literal. I'm a very literal person, Not that you were not to go off and contradict what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Obviously, it was a compliment, and I appreciate it. But
Mark it out.
no, it's not at all. I just went off on New Day and to Vince,
Yeah, no, you're good, you're good.
But I can be going out more. I use a lot of excuses. So to say I won't deserve it until I've put 100% of my effort in. We were just talking about, you were talking about my arms or whatever and how good I've been looking lately. But, honestly, I could be tan. I could be bigger. If I supposedly look good, I can't imagine what I'd look like if I really put more effort into it. I show up here and I wish I had more energy. I wish I had more fuel to get the workouts in that I want, to put everything into practicing stuff after class. I used to do that all the time. But again, I could just put that to excuses. I'm burnt out. Well, I'm not doing enough to research a diet. I'm not doing enough to one thing that's held me back. I have an infinite amount of ideas for videos and promos and
saw that today.
Entertaining stuff to put out.
Yeah.
So I've never had the technology, the funds, whatever it is, I just can't get my hands on that not only
That's-
knowledge, but
yeah.
the software and whatever you nowadays. Again, excuses.
Yeah,
I know I'm throwing
yeah.
excuses out there because you can do that stuff on your phone, but
Quality does
maybe
play into it, though.
maybe this is just an endless
No, keep going. No, keep
waterfall
going.
of excuses. But I'll just say that I've realized over the weekend that I put a lot, everything I have into this school.
You do. That's what I was going
and
to get to.
committing to bringing these guys not just to my level but past my level.
Yeah.
Once popped, I've only really technically been a trainer here for the last 3 years since we
Really?
moved into this building. Before that, I was just one of the seniors that was guiding the class.
Huh.
I was training because there was a long period where it wasn't every day.
Yeah.
But George De La Isla, the original founder of the school,
Mm-hmm.
and Ray would go into the office and talk business.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just them, whatever, it was them going into how do we hype the school? How do we raise money? They were
Mm-hmm.
always trying to get sponsors, always trying to get partnerships. They busted their ass and sometimes, a lot of times, left me in charge for 2.5, 3 hours and then
Yeah.
walk out. All right, guys, wrap it up,
Yeah.
That actually was how it went for a
Wow.
while. But only until, it wasn't until George sold the school to Ray that Ray brought me in and said, I want you to come in as a employee of mine.
Yeah.
You're one of the guys I trust to help with this school, to not, I can trust you.
Mhm.
I know you know what you're doing. You're consistent out there. It was
Yeah.
great to be appreciated like that,
Yeah. You can see it. I mean, every time. I mean, you're here every single practice. I think since the whole time I've been here, which isn't that long, but still, like, you've been here every single time I've been here, and you're consistent, so it makes sense.
It's rare to take a day off, because this is my job.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I needed like a personal day, and
Everyone needs one.
like Pops wasn't mad, but I showed up, and we were talking about just the pressures of life in general.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just needed a day off, and he's like, well, I don't take days off. I'm always here. But he took a vacation the other week and all that.
Yeah.
But like that's the mentality I need to have.
It shows, man.
I mean, I do have that. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm saying it shows.
That's the mentality you should have.
Yeah.
If you want to treat this like a business. I mean, this is my only job right now other than wrestling on the weekends.
Yeah.
So you could say I'm making ends meet, but I am living off of wrestling right now.
That's the dream for most people.
It is.
For me.
Not to say, that doesn't mean I don't have my financial struggles. Like we
No,
are
right,
literally
yeah. You're on the
starving
menu.
artists, just like trying
Yeah.
to be a musician, like starting from the ground up in music.
Yeah.
Like,
But it shows that you love it. I mean, the fact that you're willing to go through everything you've gone through and come here every single time we have a practice, I mean, it shows. And you don't like I guess you don't like the word deserve it, but I feel like you deserve it, man.
Yeah.
I really, to hark back on being heartfelt and sappy, I really want you to go somewhere, and I really hope you do, because, I mean, it shows in class. Like, you have so much knowledge. I feel like it's not a waste, because obviously you're teaching like a new generation, a whole batch of new people that want to be wrestlers. But I mean, I feel like more people should see you. I think that's what I'm trying to get to.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, do you plan on traveling soon to other promotions, or?
well, that's in the plans.
Yeah. Well, was there anything
the
big
thing-
coming up before COVID?
Well, I was supposed to wrestle David Starr
Ooh.
at the original Collective, who
Yeah.
was one of the like hottest independent guys around at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really looking forward to that. I'm also disappointed because I filmed a really good promo.
Yeah, you do good promos too.
And like you could say your own stuff is good, but I base that off of how much feedback I got.
Yeah.
It's on the Inspire Pro YouTube.
It is.
I think you can just look for Steve'O calls out someone collective.
Yeah.
Search for those words and
Yeah.
you'll find it. Steve'O Collective, Inspire Pro, something like that. But I went off kind of like on what we talked about.
Yeah.
I wrestled Joey Janela, had a good match with him. we stole the awards at the end of the year for that
Yeah.
company, and it's not, it's one of the most talked about, successful, viewed companies, I think, and it's a big part of what's kept Texas wrestling relevant.
Yeah.
Is Inspire Pro, and we swept the year-end awards.
Yeah.
I heard from other people, his friends, my friends, contacts, that he was talking about that match in other states outside of it. Messaged him. This was all like, I made the abridged version in the promo.
Yeah.
But basically I said like all of that, but I couldn't hear back. I couldn't hear back. I reached out. The first message I said is like, I want to be involved in GCW in any way I can. I want to be seen more. I just want to, I'm not looking for a handout, but I want to, just whatever direction you can guide me along those lines. And he was like, right on, man. And then when I followed up with that, nothing back. Followed up, nothing back.
That's so unfortunate. Does that happen a lot?
Multiple social media accounts,
Yeah.
Again, you can just say I wasn't persistent enough, but
I feel like your
don't
body
just
speaks for
take
itself.
and this is, again, I'm like, maybe the confidence is an issue, but this all goes back, I think, to my mentality of I never want to feel like I know everything. I never want to feel like I've reached the top.
Right.
I always want to keep learning. But at some point, you got to have I am at the point where I see guys I know I'm better than in these spots.
Yeah.
And
definitely yes.
like guys that came to this school and couldn't cut it, and then filmed a viral video in Walmart and got those spots at GCW.
No, I'm with
immediately
you.
got the talk with Joey probably sought them out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it takes. Guys like Superhuman jumping on the microwaves and stuff gets more of an opportunity in this business that I've dedicated my life to than me.
You have the body of work to say you belong there.
I'm never going to stop, owning up to my downfalls. Like, I could keep hitting them up. But I take a rejection and I sit back and I go to the viewing board and I see what I could do to get that yes the next time.
Yeah.
I don't just send the same resume out. Like, to
Change it
me,
up.
that's unproductive.
There's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot to respect about it, because a lot of people will just do one thing one time and then take whatever result they get as this is what's just
I
gonna
might
be.
hold off for a while and might procrastinate sending my info, reaching out to companies, because I treat this like a job. I treat this like a profession, and I want that resume, that first initial contact, to be the absolute best possible impression I can give.
That is so respectable.
If I were to go get a job down the street, I'm buying new clothes. That's the same thing, but do I have money for the clothes? No. So I got to save up and buy money for those clothes. But in the meantime, I got to go get a job, where I don't have to worry as much about it.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just, that's the struggle I've had.
Tortured
and I made the
artist.
same comment, I just go off in this Inspire promo. I go off on that. I'm not necessarily, I think, talking trash, but I just said the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't get a response. Another names I worked were the Colony from Chikara, Fire Ant and Worker Ant, who are now going off and doing awesome things. They're, if you know who they are, they've come a long way, and they're wrestling names now, bigger than they were before. Chikara had a big following. Now those guys have moved on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Dasher Hatfield looks phenomenal now. Mr. Touchdown. I was very fortunate to wrestle those guys.
Yeah.
And I made a comment about how I couldn't hear back from them. I flew myself up to Chikara for a tryout, and the only way I was getting on there is if I packed up everything and moved up to Philly.
Really?
And I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything. You hear all the time that old wrestlers, well, they have I been too far away from the mic this whole time?
Oh, you're good.
You're
I
good,
just
man.
started to finally hear myself in the headphones.
We can hear you. You're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you hear about wrestlers packing up and living in their car, but,
That's such
if
a
I can't
drastic-
afford to eat,
yeah.
if I can't afford a place to live, then I've become a hindrance on somebody else or whatever. So I was trying to save money up for that, and eventually just time went on and I couldn't save money. I just
Yeah. God, those are such
money
drastic
has
stories.
been like a big hindrance / excuse. I'm gonna keep going back. I don't want to justify any of my, procrastination or
You're too humble,
excuses and
man.
everything.
Yeah.
But I refuse to be a hypocrite. I refuse to be like somebody that just talks and doesn't walk, But yeah, I went off on that, and just a few more examples of getting skipped on opportunities. I might not be as productive, but I have my own personal struggles and self-doubt and depression and anxiety and things I'm working through with new medications and things like that. And even then, like, it was holding me back before, questioning if I was good enough. Like, if I'm not getting the push in certain places, then I can't, then I must not be good enough to make it out of there.
Yeah.
I think one thing that held me back for a long time, and what took me a long time to get out of the school, was I put a lot of investment in how Ray and George booked the school shows back then.
Yeah.
They were nowhere near the production that we have now. We didn't even film a lot of them. And the ones we did film were on some cassette, some
come a
old
long way.
camcorder. Definitely.
Yeah.
When I started, we had to bring our entrance music on CDs.
Really?
That so they could burn it and put it on the computer, or at least flip the discs out between entrances.
God.
That's how far we've come. Yeah.
Jeez, dude, man,
I
you've seen
don't
it
even know
all.
what they did before that. Like, I have no idea what they did 5 years before that.
Floppy disk.
Something.
I wouldn't put it past it.
Yeah, just switching out CDs, switching out cassettes. I have worked plenty of shows with a boombox as our audio equipment. Yeah, for sure.
Good Lord.
But I feel like I'm just sidetracking a
No,
lot.
dude.
but,
No, the whole point is to have you talk.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
hearing you talk.
I mean, again, it's just I never want to not own up to the excuses I've put in front of me.
Yeah.
But again, like I was saying, that's what I was getting. I invested a lot in what George and Ray thought of me, and whether they were proud of me or not.
Yeah.
I was always kind of kept, maybe because I was an average size guy, I was always kept kind of in the middle of the card. Never was the school champion up until we moved in here, and Ray gave me the belt so I could work with all the beginners in big match scenarios. So I always took that to heart, whether or not it was personal or they did it on purpose. Like, I kept telling myself for my first 5 years of wrestling, like, if my trainers, the people that brought me up, don't believe that I'm good enough to be in the main events, that I'm good enough to represent the school, then I have to keep working. So I kept working.
Yeah, that's a good mindset, I feel.
Even after guys started after me and left and started and left, like, I'd be lying if I said that certain people after me didn't achieve more success. You can go and see all the following and all the success that a lot of the other guys and girls have from out of here. And are they holding me back? No, it's all me. It's all the stuff in my head. And that maybe sound like, oh, I've got the wrestling down pat. But again, I'm always trying to
so
learn.
humble.
I'm always trying to advance. If I get that no, I'm trying to think of what I have to do to improve. So I won't hit them back until I fix it. I've sent my stuff to WWE and didn't hear back. I've sent my stuff to AEW, didn't hear back. I was fortunate enough that a promoter that I knew from San Antonio hooked me up with an Impact match.
Wow.
I can't say it was a tryout, but it was a match with the Rascals. And I thought that was, going to lead to something, and didn't. I followed up with that. I haven't heard anything back. MLW, I haven't heard anything back. GCW, I haven't heard anything back. Even when they came to town, I hit up every possible social media account and the promoter's account that I could.
Yeah.
Nothing back. So I don't just I need to be more persistent, but I go back to the drawing board, I go back to the bat cave, and I plot, and I think about what I need to do to get that yes. And sometimes it's not overnight. I realize I can't transform overnight.
Yeah.
I can't learn how to put these promos I have in my head out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know the production side well enough. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I feel I have the ability to have entertaining, top-notch matches with anyone.
You and
I
Adam.
have been scouting the top companies and especially places where I know certain people. I went backstage at AAPW around January, February.
Yeah.
And there were no promises, but Jerry Lynn told me and another Manny
Wow.
Domingo from the school to show up.
Yeah.
And we showed up dressed,
Ready to go.
suits and ties, wanted to be as professional as we could. Again, I probably could have been more outspoken. And my attitude when I go to a place like that is be out of sight, out of mind, and don't be a hindrance to anybody.
Yeah.
And slowly I've learned that that's
Sometimes you need to stick out.
right.
Yeah. Wow.
I just heard from a recent current WWE name. I don't want to name drop, but she told me the same thing I heard at the WWN camp I went to late last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's been over a year now. Gabe Sapolsky, who's
Big name.
pretty much,
Yeah.
was in a nutshell Paul Heyman's protege.
Yeah.
Is in charge of that. Was in charge of that. I think still is in charge of that developmental system.
I'm pretty sure
I know
he is.
Evolve. I think
so.
is
I think so.
Yeah.
not running anymore, but he's still quite involved in the company.
Yeah.
Right.
In the developmental
Stage. Or
Exactly.
yeah.
And he said something that really stood out. It was probably the biggest piece of info I left with, is that he said, us wrestlers, us independent wrestlers who have been working the independents, who grew up as kids idolizing, loving, obsessing over wrestling, we want nothing more to treat it with respect and reverence. And if we get an opportunity, we want to be quiet and respectful and yes sir, no sir, not speak out of line, because we respect it and love it so much. But then on the same tryouts, you have somebody like a cheerleader or an actor or a stunt guy or a pro athlete,
Yeah.
somebody that's more enthusiastic, more outspoken, more charismatic, not afraid to go out and let's do it,
Right,
yeah,
just
all
rub
right,
elbows, all
yeah.
that,
They're actually looking for that.
Yeah.
They want that more than the soft-spoken, humble guy.
Yeah. That's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That you claim that you've claimed that I am.
Yeah.
And I heard that same thing from the WWE name. So it's
Wow.
like that's what they're looking for. We always, and it eats me up sometimes where I see these models and these non-wrestlers get all this attention
Yeah.
and pushed and brought up through the developmental territory.
Right, because they've got a little bit of name value from somewhere else.
Well,
so
they
kinda
have
look-
that charisma.
Yeah.
Um,
They may not have the in-ring
They don't
knowledge,
want you
but-
just silent with your arms behind your back.
Yeah.
They throw you in those roles and they want you to, woo, good job, yeah, let's get it, all right, high five, baby, yeah. Let's get it, all right, woo.
Yeah.
They want that energy. They don't want
Yeah.
the humble guy that's afraid to speak out of turn.
Yeah. That's such a, I guess
That
that's
really
like the torture
clicked.
torture side of wrestling. It's like, gosh, how many stories do you hear about that? Like, guys that just, other than, you're basically saying yourself are one of those guys that just, stay quiet. Like you said, stay out of sight, out of mind. How many stories do you hear about that in wrestling?
I mean, it makes sense to look back and see why it took guys so long to get to the big stage.
Yeah.
The guys that are kind of main roster guys now,
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 years ago were the guys I was studying
Yeah.
on the indies. And it makes sense why it maybe took them so long. Just one name, Ricochet. Not only did I also get to wrestle him and inspire,
Sheesh.
but to me, that was a good example in my head of somebody that I always question, what is he missing?
Yeah.
What do you? I heard he got a tryout like 3-4 years ago. What the hell?
Really?
What is this? What is
Yeah.
this? Well, this is like
Years ago.
yeah, just an example.
Yeah.
Like he's had tryouts. He's been on the radar, and it's like, why would you not immediately sign a like
Yeah.
the Fry meme, like take my money,
Yeah.
like just wave a contract at that guy. Why would you not?
Yeah.
And then you go back and
You dig
humble
deeper.
guy here. Who am I to talk about Ricochet? But then you go back and you see like his promos. He's not super all over the place. He's not screaming. He's not cutting a
Yeah.
Hulk promo. I'll say that. There's not like the bad, but like there's different energies.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
We get what you're saying.
you can tell that he's humble. You can tell that he
can.
loves being there.
Yeah.
And you feel it and you see it in his face when he's wrestling. And that's also something I think that they're looking for is you can do all the moves,
They don't want
but
you to play wrestler.
yeah,
Like you guys speak about here,
if
don't
you
play
don't
wrestler.
sell it and you don't act like it hurts, then what is the point? We can't
Exactly.
sell that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't kill yourself day in and day out and wrestle like that style, that
Yeah.
him versus Will Ospreay style, and then get up the next day and do it again,
Sheesh.
and then get up the next day and do
That's
it again
killer.
for 300 days
Yeah.
out of the year,
Ugh.
something like that.
Yeah, that's killer, man. I couldn't even imagine. Sheesh, man.
I think they said something like, I heard this a few years ago, so it might have changed, especially now with
Yeah.
the situation that we're in. But I heard sometime that they're on the road 200 days
Yeah.
out of the year. That's
They're literally wrestling like basically almost every single day. Like they're on
back
road
in
to
the
road.
day,
Yeah.
and then you hop on.
Gosh.
So any human that tries to wrestle that style is going to
Burn out.
break down.
Yeah. God, man. Wrestling is.
A lot
I like
of this
that
is
you're-
stuff I've picked up from
Yeah.
shoot interviews, but also, like I said, like personal
Yeah, like you're living it.
stories.
Like you're going through it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
right.
See, yeah, this is why I like talking to you, because you just bring such a well of knowledge. Like it's really nice to hear, and I hope everyone listening appreciates what this man is saying, because so much knowledge. I would love to have you on.
I mean, we've hardly talked about moves or
Yeah.
anything like that. To me, wrestling started to click when I thought more about the stories.
Yeah.
I remember as a teenager, as soon as I realized I wanted to wrestle, I was looking at every interview, every podcast, every whatever I could think of. Podcasts were just becoming a thing,
Yeah.
But like even like they had Bite This and
Yeah.
those documentaries
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff. Like
what is it? In the ring or something like that? Where it's like in the ring with someone. I watch those a lot.
oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
any little
RF video.
bit,
Outside the
yeah,
ropes.
bro. Any
Yeah.
little
All that.
bit I could get, and then YouTube
Yep. YouTube pops
blew up
Woo.
and like
Drain that.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Milk that for as much as you can.
one of my favorites. I'll just mention one. There's a 2.5, 3 hour Kevin Nash and Sean Waltman
Oh, God.
shoot with a lot of good stuff, like a lot of good.
I know
Oh,
exactly.
I
the
think
one
I know
you're
what you were talking about.
Every now and again, Kevin Nash will blow your mind with some his
Yeah.
knowledge, but they're also sipping wine and Sean smoking off
Yeah.
camera like the whole time.
Jeez.
It's hilarious. Actually, I was gonna reference it. I might as well now.
Yeah.
In that interview, Kevin Nash says, "You can kill each other with." He's talking about ECW. He's like,
Yeah.
"You can kill each other with hatchets. You can throw each other through barbed wire if you work once a month.
It's
But
true.
you can't do that. You
Yeah.
can't do that every night."
No, yeah, that's true.
It's true.
So when I would hear guys like Triple H, I heard an interview with him, and he's like, "It's about telling stories. It's
Yeah.
about the storytelling." And as a kid, I'm like, he's just trying to sound cool. He's just trying to sound like some
Yeah.
artist,
Visionary.
philosopher. Right.
Yeah.
He's just blowing smoke, But then it took me a while, and maybe this is another reason that it held me back, because I
Yeah.
forgot the formula that we teach. Those note cards that we have in the office
Yep.
that are up on the wall, we don't have that talk enough. And what I'm talking about for everybody listening is the parts of the match.
Yeah.
Basically every story
The formula
has it.
Yeah.
Going back to like, I'm not even gonna try to remember the name, but the like Journey to the West and like the formula or Journey to the East, right?
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
It's like that old Chinese.
Like a proverb or?
Might be Japanese, because it's basically based off what Dragon Ball is based off of, like the Journey to the West or something.
Yeah.
It's either East or West. I forgot which one it is, but it's
Yeah.
the guy's journey, and it follows the formula of like the hero who has a downfall and struggles to recover, and there's the loss of a friend that always spawns like a rejuvenation in the hero, or the loss of a loved one. Hence, Krillin dying and becoming Super Saiyan. Right. You see that a lot. I'm going off, but
go ahead.
It's an age-old formula for storytelling that we still stick to in wrestling. The establish, the shine, the cutoff, the heat. And that's probably for part 2 of this interview, you know, where I can go more into that. But basically, if everybody who's had some legit training knows what I'm talking about. The establish of the match, the shine, the cutoff, the heat. That's all parts of the story. It's any of your favorite movies. It's any of your favorite shows. It's any of your favorite comic books.
Yes.
The beginning, middle, and end, all organized to build sympathy and up to a big climax.
Yeah.
That's how you organize your matches. If that's how you think about your matches, you don't have to remember, oh, what's the first thing we got to do?
Yeah.
Oh, we lock up, and then after the headlock, I have like 24 little things I got to remember.
Yeah.
Not if you think about it like Isaiah's coming in and he's hungry and he wants to beat up Steve. And Steve's been like talking trash about his family and his mom and his sister and all that stuff. We have a match right there.
Yeah.
If we remember that, we can't go wrong. Even if we stumble and we fumble and we mess up every move that we planned, if we stick to the story, we can't go wrong. Humans fall off the top rope. If you slip and fall, I'm just going to laugh at you and beat you up. You know, things. If you stick to the story, if you treat the match like Three Little Pigs, then you're not trying to remember algebra.
Yeah.
Like going back to Ricochet, Will Ospreay, like they're not trying to remember, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3. Fuck. All right, now we're on step 57. It's just
It's just a flow.
It's the way they organize their matches put together. It's not complicated to them. You can go and dissect spoiling the guys out there, but you can go and watch other matches now. Like if you go, you can see those parts of the matches normally.
Yeah.
I can pick apart, and I have picked apart a lot of the NXT WWE matches of the year.
Yeah.
They have all the parts. You can see them.
Mhm.
It's just really intricate and really awesome because those are the top athletes of the world and they get it. It's not, and that's another thing like that holds people back. I think like why can't that guy that do the double backflip? Why is he not in WWE?
Yeah, there's more
Does
to
he
it.
know how to put a match together? Is that all he knows how to do?
Yeah.
You know.
There's so much more than just what goes on inside those ropes, and like I said earlier in the beginning, there's a lot more than what you see on TV, especially everything in the back, production, the promos being filmed,
Character work,
character development.
Yeah.
Right.
I learned a lot looking at the wrestlers, male and female,
Yeah.
that I didn't see anything in, and asked myself like, what did they see in that?
Yeah.
Why do they have a job and I don't? What is it? Oh, it could be that he looks like Lex Luger from the neck down, or it could be that he's 7'5",
Which,
or it could be that she looks like a supermodel, know.
That's just the way wrestling is. It sucks. There's a lot of
Well,
Right. Sometimes the look is the foot in the door.
it's not always. I mean,
it's not.
you can't think like that. You can't think of it like you have to work with it. You have to work with it because if it's not going to change, I got to do something about it.
That's true.
Okay, so it might not be my favorite thing, but if I go fake tan and I go to invest in a tanning membership, I'll look even more cut than I do now.
Yeah.
And my teeth will shine more. If I start working on video production, then I can get those ideas out that I have in my head that I know are good. I know if I get that stuff out in my head in front of people, I know that I can get that opportunity that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then I'll deserve it. When I put the real effort in, I can do more.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to work and bring everybody else here up to my same level. So
Very respectable.
I'm at a I don't know how much time. I don't want to go too long, but you don't have to end with this, but like a big thing I've been thinking about lately is taking a little hiatus. I guess you could say that sounds like a negative thing, but just to get out, not only for myself, to experience more training, to get my foot in the door somewhere else outside of the state. I can't say I've wrestled for every single promotion in Texas, but
good majority.
I've stuck to what I think are the top quality promotions, production-wise, talent-wise, good vibes, positive energy, guys that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think I've done everything that's going to elevate me already, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't done everything I can, but I feel like I've done everything that I
could possibly do to elevate me. Yeah. Yeah, you have such
Texas.
a good mindset, man.
So, well, I need to put it to good use, you know?
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Like, I spend a lot of my energy on this school. I've stayed up all night putting these shows together, and Pops hasn't asked me to do it. I just want to do it. I'm invested in these guys. I realized a long time ago, I say a long time ago, like 2 years ago, like a year into this new building, this new system, the new AAPW, we'll say, that I am okay with these guys doing better than me. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it speaks more about me if I'm able to raise these guys to the level I've already reached.
Yeah.
Because then all they can do is go past me from there. If they have all my knowledge, then they just gain one little piece of info from somebody else. They're already that much more better than me.
Yeah.
So, like, why not spawn just a whole bunch of Super Steves out there? You know what I'm saying?
Super Steves.
We might as well just tell all here. I was a little emotional before this, and I didn't know how this was going to go. But then we started talking, and I realized that we are cool and that, like, you guys get it. And I just started rambling.
Yeah,
you know?
we appreciate it. I do. I
really
love
do.
hearing you speak.
So don't feel like, you can't interject or anything like that, because, again, like, you guys put in a lot of work.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys put yourselves over on here enough, but for a guy that works hard here, I see you guys working hard here.
That means a lot.
And
It really
not
does.
just
I appreciate it.
not just like doing it, but if things go wrong, I see you frustrated and like doing what you can to fix it, and that shows you give a shit, you know.
Yeah. More Jay and Keanu.
So yeah, if I were to get out of here, it would benefit me, get my name out there, but then I can add more to the school when I come back. I feel like I've reached a standstill with a lot of the more advanced people, and I don't know how to pull it out of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, it's just like one certain thing. They don't have enough fire. They can bump. They know how to put a match together. They just don't have the fire. Or certain people are afraid to hit other people. And these are things that it hasn't just been a week or a month, but 6 months to a year that and it's not all me, but I want to. It could be, and I want to be able to provide more for the school that I have now. And I'm not doing you, or anybody here any favors by just staying here and doing what I'm doing. I'm not increasing my value or the school's value if I just stay here.
Yeah.
I have to get out. I have to go. I have to go out. You were asking more about specific places. My goal, my sights are set on AEW.
Nice.
My sights are set. Like I said, I think I'm like rambling and going into two or three different stories at a time. Sorry, folks, but I went to AEW and I was greeted by a lot of people I've wrestled, a lot of people I've worked on shows with, and I sat back at the end of the night and said, I know and have worked half these people,
you could be
need
there.
to be here.
Yeah.
I need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before Ricky got signed, another AAPW student. So that was, I have an even more, I want to earn it.
Mm-hmm. Not deserve it.
Right. I want to earn it. So I don't want to use any cheap connections or cheap plugs or anything.
Yeah.
Nobody helped him, nobody guided him along the way. So I just need to go to the drawing board. I consider it, plotting, scheming, because people might not see me doing it, but I go home and I'm like writing. I have notebooks and notebooks of my plans and my goals throughout the years of wrestling.
Yeah.
So right now it's to go to. God, I'm drawing a blank. So it goes to show like the gentleman who's in charge of the training. I'm just missing his name right now.
Of AEW?
Yeah, QT.
QT Marshall. Yeah.
Right. I have my sights set on that place.
Yeah.
Because if I just show up there, like, what are they going to tell me? Like,
Right.
I'm confident enough to know I get in the ring and I show them what I can do.
Yeah.
That like that's all it's going to take for me.
Yeah, and I believe in you.
I mean, any better kind of conditioning and physique, that's just extra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember when you go and put your name out there. Especially when you go to these seminars, these tryouts where you've paid for your spot, you've secured a spot, you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain.
Yeah.
Because nothing's on the line, you
Right.
know. In certain scenarios, like I say that, but in the back of my head, I'm always worried about giving that bad first impression.
Yeah.
You got to find that middle ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Still learning. So, I'm kind of figuring it out as I'm talking to you.
Yeah. It's a part of teaching, though, I feel.
Right.
I feel like the more you talk it out and the more you teach, the more you figure out, like, what's going on. But, yeah. Yeah, man, we've been going for a while, which I appreciate. I love, like I told you in the beginning of this, I love when you talk because as you all just witnessed, we sit down, we shut up, and we listen because you know what you're talking about. And I really appreciate you giving us our thanks. Production. It's definitely more Jay and Keanu. They do basically the heavy lifting. They do all the crappy stuff that no one else wants to do. So big shout out to them just to
Sure,
scratch
man.
Production's back. But yeah, it was great having you on, man. Like I really want to do another one of these with you because you have so much that you can give everyone listening and just to us two here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we really appreciate you.
No problem, man. I
Yeah.
can talk wrestling all day.
Yeah, I would love to.
And I feel like we didn't really even get into like the training
there's
itself.
so much
There's
more
so
that
much
we can
more.
actually
Right.
get
I mean,
into
all I
whenever it
really
comes to
did was
wrestling.
mention
Yeah.
but that's a big thing. And I was going to say that's how I really stepped it up in my career.
Yeah.
I forgot about those flashcards and I tried to just have X Division matches every time. And if you don't know how to put those matches together psychology wise, like you're just running out there doing moves.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like I said, we could get into more of like what training exactly is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've
want
talked
to.
about it a little bit with everybody else.
Yeah.
But,
No, this is definitely a nice change, a different perspective
Informative.
on different aspects of the business. Because until pretty much everything has been, in the ring, on the road.
Yeah.
Not so much the work that's involved to get on the road and get on a show, get in between those ropes.
yeah.
Right.
We need. Yeah. If we do another one, we're definitely having you back on. But
For sure, man.
Yeah.
God, I'm just realizing we didn't talk at all about Halloween Hardcore, October
Halloween-
24th.
October
Oh my
24th.
God.
October 24th.
Yeah,
October
man.
24th. Shout
Yeah,
out.
dude.
Cheap plug.
If anything, I mean, we were just rambling on, having fun,
Yeah.
but like that's one thing that my heart, my soul is really been into is
Yeah.
building up that show.
I can say this personal account. After every single practice, you hype up the Halloween show so much. I'm very excited for it. I'm not even going to be on the darn
it takes
show.
it
but I'm
takes
excited.
everybody,
Yeah.
And just one more point that I'll make is I finally understand why there are so many damn promos on WWE or on TV wrestling in general.
Yeah.
People complain about all the promos, right? That's one of the biggest complaints of current pro wrestling today.
Yeah.
It's promos, right?
Is they
People are
want more
tired of all the
wrestling,
talking. At the same time, those same fans are complaining about, oh, my guy's not getting a push. This guy's not getting a push.
How's they
Oh,
gonna
now
do
you
it?
push this guy, but now you're not pushing this guy. And then those guys do get pushed, and then the other people are like, well, what about those other guys? What happened to them? You can't have it both
Everybody
ways.
can't be happy.
Right. So the only way to invest in every single character on your show is to give them a promo, is
Yeah.
to give them time to talk, to let them explain their story. Unless you're just like keeping them quiet and giving them all the video packages, but that's, you can only invest so much
Right.
in that if you don't hear the characters talking.
Yeah.
Like think about your favorite TV show.
And hell, actually, those video packages, you
Think
probably
about
invest more.
soap operas.
Yeah.
You know, there's
I
a
hope this
whole
podcast
there's a
does it for
whole
people.
there's a whole like fan base
Yeah.
that are obsessed with soap operas. That's why they've gone on for like 20, 30
True.
years sometimes, all that stuff. But think about y'all's favorite TV shows right now. How many cast, what's the number of characters? Like, what's the cast of
Sheesh.
characters on those shows?
The 100. JK. That's a meme, but I love
But-
that.
Well, let's just say like the Office.
Yeah.
You know, like 10, 15 guys at most.
Yeah.
You don't hear from them every
All the
episode
time.
because you only got 30 minutes.
Right.
The WWE roster, Raw, SmackDown, and they try to put NXT and 205 Live and the
Yeah.
UK guys, and now I hear rumors of NXT Japan, and Mexico
Ooh,
stuff.
boy.
They have NXT UK,
Yeah.
so it's only a matter of time. So think about all those characters that they're trying to invest in. You know,
Sheesh.
like you can't say, oh, they're not pushing my favorite guy, and then say there's too much talking because they're doing their like. They're learning
Rosters over
too,
100
like
people,
who.
yeah.
Okay, our ratings when we push this guy as compared to our ratings
Yeah.
when we push this guy, like they're not just doing it to do it, you know.
There's reason behind it.
Right. So I get about having all the promos. I'm happy with the fact that I think every match, every promo we did last show was to build up and
Yes.
hype up, invest everyone that was there and watching on Twitch to come and see the show. You know.
Yes.
I'd like to think it's
yeah.
going to have quite a bit more hype and attendance and views.
Yeah. On that note.
Because of that work.
Yeah. On that note, October 24th, everyone tune in.
Halloween
Halloween
hardcore, Halloween hardcore, Halloween hardcore.
But yeah, man, this is probably the longest episode, which I like. I like.
Well, if y'all ain't mad at it, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, we
True
might
that.
hit an hour, man.
True that. But all right. Yeah, we got to get going. Steve'O, I really want you on another one. I love hearing you talk. You have so much knowledge.
For sure, man. Just cut
Yeah.
me off, and we'll just keep it to a few subjects at a time. You know, I do
We'll
feel bad
try
we
our
didn't
best.
talk much about the
No,
show,
no.
but Halloween hardcore, Halloween hardcore.
Halloween hardcore.
Yeah.
But thank you once again. Thank you for giving production the props. I'm not gonna call myself production anymore because it's like I said earlier, it's
man.
Jay and Keanu.
Whatever.
But
Throw them in the group.
Y'all are the
Primo's in
holy
the group.
triumvirate of production, and we'll call this one the father here.
Father,
I appreciate
Godfather
that.
Jay.
Yeah.
Father Jay.
Keanu's gonna fight you for that. But anyways, yes, thank you,
And
Steve'O.
Keanu's the Holy Spirit because he's hardly here and he's just hovering. His presence is here.
We feel the
most
presence
times.
always. I can say.
No, I
that.
love you, Keanu.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, we got to get going. Thank you, Steve'O.
Thank you guys for
once
having
again.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see you when you see you. Peace.
Yes, sir.